Project for today is going to be this Cub Cadet walk behind string trimmer. It's got a bad belt tensioner. This is a used one that I pulled off another one. This was a customer's machine. They'd had it for quite a few years and they didn't really want to put any more money into it, so I ended up buying it from them. They ended up buying a new one. This one, when you start it up, the blade spins all the time, where he wanted one that you could turn on and off, which is kind of understandable. That was kind of a weird design on these, but these ones had a 159cc engine. This is kind of Cub Cadet's own engine. It was kind of an off-brand engine. And then I've got this Yardman string trimmer here, and it was just kind of a coincidence that I was monkeying with this one, and I was looking for the head parts for another one, and I realized that the belt tensioner setup and stuff was the same as what's on this, so I stole that out of there. I think this was like 45 bucks when I looked them up to replace it, and then would have been with the labor and everything, but so then he didn't want to put that much more into it. So we'll get this one tipped up like the other one, and we'll pull this shield and stuff off and see what we're dealing with. I think he took all the parts out of it already, so we'll see what we're working with. So I've got it tilted up here. We'll take all these bolts out for this guard. So it looks like he might have just put a bolt in here with a spacer and then tried to put just one belt on it that was tight all the time. I'm not really sure what we have going on here, but the belt was gone too. I just tried to slide this one in off the other one, and it doesn't go in there without taking one of these pieces off, so we'll see if this will come off. Not sure how rusted that's gonna be. This kind of stuff can be kind of a pain to get off. Gets that grass and stuff in there. It doesn't seem to be moving. There is a bolt in the top here. I might take that out and see if that does anything. I've never really had one of these apart before, so we don't see too many of these string trimmers like this. Not sure if that, I don't think that really has anything to do with it. I'll leave it loose just in case it does. So I got this puller set up on here. We'll see if I can get it to move with this. It's not on there very good, but it didn't move. There we go. Broke it loose. It left the bearing on there. We'll clean up the edge of that a little bit. I'll just take the wire wheel of the shaft on the end. There, it slid off of there. And that fits in the top of this pulley here. There we go. So that piece is okay. The bearings feel good. Now we just have to figure out this tensioner setup. I should be able to get the belt on there now if I could slip it past this axle. I'm thinking this is the same size belt from that other one. The other one actually did have a cable to turn the blade on and off. I'm not sure why this model didn't. I think that's going to be kind of close, whether that fits or not. That might be tight without the tensioner. I'll take this bolt out of here. I put that in to press on with the puller. Because that would probably work also if we were... I'm going to clean up the rest of the shaft and actually put some anti-seize on it in case I need to take that back off of there. And I cleaned it up and put a little bit of anti-seize on there. It's kind of hard to get the... I'll slide the bearing up because you got to get all these spacers lined up, and they don't have a spacer in here to hold them from shaking all over the place. I think I'll slide that up like that, and then we'll put this on. Trying to get that bearing lined up there isn't very easy. Should maybe do it before I get too far up there. But our belt is pretty tight is the other problem. I got the bearing up in there. I monkeyed with it a little bit off camera. I just have to get the... There we go. So I'm thinking, I don't even think we need a tensioner with it like that, because it's just pretty much tight all the time now. I think that's what he was kind of going after, and he put the spacer in here and then just tighten the bolt back down. Might hit on that a little bit. Yeah, it does rub. I might have to put a different spacer in there. But I'm going to put the bolt back in down here just so we don't lose that. I'm not even sure if this thing runs anymore actually, because I got it a while back from him and he claimed it ran then, but I never did start it. So I think that'll work. I just need to put something else in here, or just put a shorter bolt in it maybe. I'll have to get a ratchet or something for that. Actually, I can get to it from the top here. Oh, not that one. That one. Yeah, I think I'll just put a shorter bolt in there. He had the spacer in there. I don't know if that was part of the old tensioner or what. It looks like that piece was part of the old tensioner, 'cause that's what we had on the replacement one. So if we were to put this one in there, let's sit up. I think it was like that. But it doesn't seem to really fit quite right. I guess this was a little bit different. I probably could make this work if we had to, but being that our belt is tight the way it is, I think I might just leave that and see how it works. This is one I'm going to be keeping for myself, so I can run it a little bit and see how that belt does. If it ends up slipping, we'll have to add a tensioner, but for now it's pretty tight, and I'll I'll just have to replace it with the same belt, I guess, if I have to redo it. So I just got a shorter 5/16 bolt. And that might even be a little bit too long. Well, that's not touching anything anyway. We can tighten that one down. The other one I took loose. Then it's got this ball on the end that was already removed. Well, that's just 3 bolts that go around here, which this seems pretty wore out, but it's not enough to come off yet. You can kind of see in here where it kind of rides how that's worn, but it's not worn enough that it comes off yet, so for now we'll leave that alone. I'll try to, it's kind of hard with everything, how everything moves to get these started. Once you get at least 2 of them, it's not too bad. Can't really get your fingers in there. And one more. That might make it a little easier. There we go. Find some string for it too before we test it out. Oh, I gotta put that guard back on, I suppose, before we test it. I could just try running it, but I'm pretty confident that it'll work the way it is. There we go. Well, we'll check the oil real quick in it before I try firing it up. It doesn't look too bad. I don't know if you can see that on camera. It looks really clean. It's just about to the full mark. See if we got any gas in it. Yeah, there's a little bit. I think we can try firing it up. I don't think this has a choke or anything. Doesn't even look like it has a primer ball. So this one, all the handles up here does is it pulls the brake for the kill on the engine. Otherwise the string spins all the time. Seems like something is out of balance the way it vibrates. I don't know if that trimmer head is messed up or what. Could be just this thing rattling, I suppose, since that's kind of loose. Those are tight. It did seem to run okay. It smoked, but I think that was from me trying to get it out of the semi-trailer. I had to have it tipped on its side and stuff, so it was probably just from that. I'll try throwing some string on it, and maybe we could take it outside and try testing it. It was raining out, so we'll see how wet it is out there before we go test it. I put some line on it, and I do think it's just that ball on the end that's rattling is our noise. So I think when you have that down on the ground when you're mowing with it, it should be okay. Otherwise, I do have the whole spindle assembly off that parts one that I was gonna take the tensioner off of. So we'll try firing it up again. I put some string on it. We'll see if it quiets it down a little when I set it on the ground. So it does seem like that's what's rattling, is it's when I actually put some good pressure on the ground, then it quit. And it is kind of a smoker. It must have quite a few hours on it, or it didn't get the oil changed too often. But I knew the guy that had this, and he's pretty good about keeping up with stuff, so I'm thinking it just had a lot of hours on it. But I think that's all we're gonna do on this one for now. I'll run it this way for a while this summer and see what happens. Right now it's rainy and crappy outside, and there's not really anything for grass to mow right now in the winter. So I think that's going to be all we're going to do to this one for now. If you like this sort of thing, like the videos and subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you on the next one.